I'm pleased to see, and I think most of you are also, that the temperatures are going in the right direction, thank goodness, after that long cold spell. We'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance and guests, and then I have a number of announcements. But I'll go ahead and recite the pledge and hold up my trusty little flag, see if I can get it in about the right place. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There, I think we got that. And we do, in fact, and I'm going to scroll around. Melissa, we do have a guest. If you want to talk about Chris a little bit, I appreciate it.
Sure, there's a lot to say about Chris Roselle, let me tell you. I first met him because he's recently moved to Kansas City, where his wife grew up, as I understand it, and he's been very involved in getting young people engaged in the voting process. But his background is totally international. I think he's visited, 100 different countries or worked in 100 different countries. And his specialty is, which would be of interest to Rotarians, of course, is water and sanitation, clean water, and all those things in impoverished countries. He has incredible slides to show about his, and I think some of you before the meeting started got to hear a little bit about his story. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you for joining us, Chris. And I do see, as I scroll through, as Michelle Caberline, who has been with us before, is our guest also. And I think that's it. So let me launch into announcements before we go to our program. We do have a new member application in, and so I'm going to do the first of two announcements. Steve Robinson is the executive director of the Breakthrough House and here in Topeka. And so we'll announce that again in a week, and we'll put forward at our next meeting to approve that application. But appreciate that, Steve. He came in by way of Joan Wagner. The rest of these are really reminders, and I refer you back to my email yesterday because there's more information. But the YWCA is doing the 21-day challenge for racial equity and social justice. It's through most of the month of March, starting March 1, and it goes Monday through Friday and concludes, I believe, on March 29. It's something you can do individually or kind of in a group facilitations. I know we see Allison online. She knows quite a bit about it. Marie Pico, I think, is involved in that. So if you have specific questions, you could probably address them or address those questions to them. Remember that the city is still looking for feedback on that master development plan. So we had that presentation a couple of weeks ago, the link to that survey, and I did the survey, and it literally is like 4 or 5 questions, and you'll be done in 4 or 5 minutes. So I encourage you to do that. Rotary International is looking for peace fellowships, and there was a flyer attached to my email yesterday. It's a great program. People study abroad. So that's something, if you know somebody that's in that field or might be interested, please at least look at that. And then I think it'll give you some reference contact people to contact if you have further questions. The district foundation dinner is March 20. It's at Prairie Band Casino, very large room, so it can be spread out. And people can social distance. It's going to be a lot of fun. And that leads me to our next speaker, and that queuing you up, Jenny. Jenny is currently our district membership chair. She is also in charge of the wine and liquor poll, and she'll give you more information about that. So even if you cannot attend, you can still participate and help raise funds. And by the way, Jenny will be our district governor in 23 and 24. Yes. So Jenny, go ahead and please.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you all for letting me take just a couple minutes to talk to you about the Rotary Foundation banquet that District Governor Barr is planning, as Stan said, on March 20th at Prairie Band. You know, we're planning a lot of really fun, exciting activities for it. There's going to be a live entertainment. That's a painter. I think she's going to paint 4 pictures in 3 minutes or something. I mean, it's just going to be really something to see. There will be a live auction, a silent auction. But what I want to talk to you today about is the wine and liquor poll. It's another activity to raise money for the foundation. All the money that is being raised that night is going to the foundation. And so I need 50 bottles of booze. And so I'm hoping that you'd be willing to donate your favorite bottle of wine or liquor to me. I promise, 4-way test me. I will make sure it gets to the wine and liquor poll. All I ask is that each bottle is worth at least $20. And I'm happy to come pick it up from you, or you can drop it off to me, whatever you'd like to do. Another option is that if you would just prefer to donate dollars and I can do the shopping for you. Again, I promise to spend the money on booze. In the
We can't hear you.
You're muted.
I know, I just muted myself. I'm sorry.
Okay.
In the chat, I've put my Venmo account information. It's at jennalee.randall. The last 4 digits associated with that Venmo account is 2515. Again, you know, I'm just looking for your favorite liquor. Like, I'm a rum drinker, so I'm planning to donate a really nice bottle of rum. I have a lot of bourbon, a lot of red wine. So whatever your favorite liquor or wine is, we'd sure love to include it in the poll. If you have any questions, just give me a shout, or Stan. He has a flyer that has all of my contact information. If you can't attend the event, please know there is a virtual attendance option. So be sure to look into that if you're still not comfortable getting out and about. Thank you again. I appreciate being able to chat with all of you.
Thank you, Jenna Lee. And that flyer was attached to yesterday's email. So that gives you a little more information, but I encourage you to do that, and it'll be a lot of fun. I plan to be there, and even if you can't, there's still the possibility of helping the local foundation. That leads us to our presenter, and it's our very own Roger Aeschliman. And I don't have any big introduction prepared because Roger really doesn't need one. Everybody knows Roger. So I am going to turn it over to Roger, and he's going to.
Great. Hey, there's the parable of the 2 travelers. A man was walking down the road and he came upon a wise old man sitting on top of a hill. The traveler looked down and saw a village below, and the traveler asked the wise old man, "What kind of people live there?" The wise old man said to him, "What kind of people where you came from?" And the traveler said, "Oh, they were terrible. They lied, they cheated, they stole, they were mean to each other. There was a lot of crime. Our city was a wreck. It was a terrible, horrible place." And the wise old man said, "Alas, you will find the same people and the same conditions here." And the traveler kept going. A bit later, a second traveler came along and he asked the same question, "Old man, what kind of people live down there?" And the wise old man said, "What were people like where you came from?" He said, "Oh, they were wonderful. They were kind, they shared, they were good, they cared about their city, they tried to make life better for everyone. It was wonderful." And the wise old man said, "You're welcome. You'll find the same kind of people here." And I don't think there's a better story about Rotary than that simple parable. And the Rotary Foundation is, of course, the key tool after people, after us as individuals. The foundation itself and our local foundation are the keys to Rotary's great success around the world. So today we're going to recognize some Topeka Rotarians for continued gifting at significant levels. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Rotary Foundation and some successes. So we're going to click back and forth a little bit and see if I can make this work. But let's start by recognizing our own club member. She's here today. Betty Morris is a Paul Harris Fellow and has won her pin and certificate. So we welcome and are very grateful to Betty for having taken that giant step. And she's been a great blessing to our club since she joined. We're glad you're here. I would say on behalf of Betty and Rotary, that $1,000 provided transportation to a group study exchange member to get overseas for 5 weeks of homestay, a chance to learn about their profession in another country. So effectively, $1,000 covered one group study exchange person, and we thank Betty for that. All right, let me see if I can do the screen thing. Y'all see, is our foundation up here?
No.
No,
All right.
Not yet.
Does it take a little bit of a cycle?
no. If you've hit share screen, it should be coming up.
Okay,
Should be a little green box at the bottom.
I have to pick the screen to share.
There it
How's
is.
that? All right, good. Look how smart I am. All right. You can see my cursor right up here, rotary.org, about Rotary Foundation. If you're at rotary.org, you click on home, click on about Rotary, you click on our foundation, you're into everything you could possibly want to know about the Rotary International Foundation. There are endless clicks off of here. That is it in a nutshell. And I'm going to recapture, for 60 cents, we can save a child from polio. For 50 bucks, we can provide clean water someplace that doesn't have it. If you click donate now, it should take you pretty quickly to the same screen that wouldn't work when we did polio. There we go. You can pick how you want to go. Annual fund, polio fund, world fund, disaster response fund. You can make it in honor of someone. And I'm going to spend just a very quick few moments. The annual fund is the receiving pot for any gift you make to Rotary that's not specifically designated for one of these other three. So if you're making a regular quarterly gift or monthly or annual, it drops in the annual fund. And once in the annual fund, it stays there for 3 years. And the earnings on the annual fund, and this is about a $700 million fund, I think. The annual fund stays there for 3 years. The earnings every year come out to all the districts. So it's the earnings from the annual fund that fund all the district programs, the matching grants that we have at the clubs, and the districts punch it all down back to clubs for operations. At the end of the 3-year time for the annual fund, half of it gets sent, what's left gets sent back to the club or the districts, 50%, and the other half drops into the World Fund, the endowment fund. And it's the endowment fund that sits there. It's invested for long-term growth, spinning off hundreds of millions of dollars a year for all the programs we do. So very easy to make a donation one time or recurring by a dollar amount. You can sign in or just do it as a guest. I make my annual polio donations on this website right here. Click and you're done. My annual fund gifts I make through the club quarterly dues statement. All right. And we're back. All right. Okay, where's the stop screen here now? got to be here somewhere. Help me, Stan, Steve.
Steve knows more than I do.
I'm on the full screen.
There we go.
Yep.
Actually, Allison knows more than anybody.
I
Yeah,
stopped you. I stopped you, Roger.
thank you. All right. Okay. Then our next honoree is David Beck. And David's on the line here. David is a +7 pen winner. That $1,000, as an example, provided 10 shallow tube wells in Bangladesh. And those wells will double the rice production and triple the vegetable production on small farms in the village where those wells go in. So an incredible gift, changing lives all around the country. David is also, in the same time frame, a +8 pen winner. So thank you, David. And that money, another $1,000, provides, as an example, orthopedic surgery, crutches, braces, or wheelchairs, and rehabilitative training for polio survivors in Africa or elsewhere in the world. So phenomenal power of money magnified by Rotary. And David, if you're willing, would you say a couple of words about why you support the Rotary Foundation?
Yes, I have been a huge believer in the Rotary Foundation. When I saw firsthand the work that we were able to do when I got to go on a trip to Panama to install water filters in rural areas that did not have access to clean water. I've seen so many other things that they do and I know that all of the money I donate is used for good purposes.
Thank you, David, very, very much. All right, let's go back to my screen share. The Rotary Foundation. The International Foundation grants last year, $86 million, 1,300 grants. You see disease prevention at 35 million, clean water 18 million, and that is disease prevention as well. Education 11 million, local growing economies around the world 10.5, mothers and children 7.2, and promoting peace 3,547,000. That's incredible numbers. If echoing what David just said, you know, the Charity Navigator gives Rotary Foundation 4 stars. That's their highest possible rating. 92% of all funds awarded or gifted to the Rotary Foundation are spent on awards and programs. And then that is again magnified by everything we do with people, boots on the ground. Our next awardee is Dr. Grace Morrison. Grace has been awarded her +3 Paul Harris Fellowship. And as an example, that $1,000 gives nutritional training to 127 women in Thailand's poorest region, introducing them to nutritional foods, following up on nutritional development of their children, helping the world be a healthier, happier, safer place. All thanks to Rotary and great Rotarians like Grace who do it. Grace, would you be willing to share a little bit about why you support Rotary?
Sure, I'll be happy to. I basically echo everything that has already been said. I've known that the Rotary International Foundation has been a really good charity, and so I looked up a little bit more, and I can expand on what Roger said about the 4-star rating from Charity Navigator, and it's not just a one-off. I mean, this has been for years and years and years and years, and it's been a top-rated charity within the among the first top 5 for many years. I support and I'm so pleased with all of the 6 pillars of Rotary. They're all so very important, and I've also always been a big fan of Bill Gates being more so all the time. And when Rotary connects with a person like Bill Gates, well, if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. But I'm very proud to support the Rotary International Foundation.
Thank you, Grace. We can pull reports off of the International Foundation website. Any club member can access them. You have to click a few times to get to where you're trying to go. But once you do, there's a huge wealth of information. Our club, the Rotary Club of Topeka, in the lifetime of the Paul Harris Fellowships, has awarded nearly 300 Paul Harris Fellowships. A number of those members are deceased, passed away now, but almost 300. And it has awarded 88 multiple Paul Harris Fellowships. So those numbers are just tremendous amounts of gifting and greatly appreciated by us all. Our next recognition goes to John Christensen. John has been awarded his Paul Harris Fellowship +5, and another fabulous gift. And as example, that $1,000 provides pacemakers for 2 indigent individuals living in Caribbean countries. So thank you, John, very much. And if you're agreeable as well, John, I'd ask you to make a few comments about why you support the Rotary Foundation.
I've had 5 daughters serve missions in foreign countries, and we've been able to visit a number of those, Peru for one, and New Zealand for another. And in many, many communities, you see a sign about the Rotary Club, like you do here in the United States. And my understanding is that when we give a grant to the Rotary International Fund, and it's given to a particular project, that it's supervised locally by Rotarians in that particular area. Correct me if I'm mistaken on that, but that's one of the reasons I feel confident in contributing to especially countries that are really in dire circumstances.
Thank you, John. We appreciate your continuing support very, very much. John, and not putting him on the spot, but John, actually all the donors we have today that we're recognizing are also members of the Paul Harris Society. The Paul Harris Society is the group that agrees to contribute $1,000 a year on an ongoing basis. And our club has 14 current members of the Paul Harris Society, and that alone is $14,000 a year of gifting to Rotary International Foundation. And that's pretty close to our own every Rotarian every year $100 goal. So we got 14 people carrying a lot of load for the entire club. And I appreciate everyone on the screen, and I hope you're giving to the Rotary Foundation. And if not, I encourage you to do so. You can do it through your quarterly statement. You can just add money and send an email in to get it credited the right direction. You can do it online at the ad where we just showed you. You can write a check if you're old school and mail it in, and it'll get attributed. If you wanted to be a member of the Paul Harris Society, $1,000 a year. That's $250 a quarter on your monthly statements. So thank you for that. Let's hear from Raymond Powers, also on the line. Raymond has been awarded his Paul Harris +2 pin, and that's $1,000 that can provide a month of living expenses and books for a Rotary Foundation scholar from another country studying elsewhere in the world. And Raymond, would you please make a few comments?
Sure, Roger. It all starts with the four-way test for me. And the line in the four-way test, is it fair to all concerned? That's the lodestar. That's the essential piece. And it's what underpins the notion that we're all in this together. And with Rotary, all means everyone in the world. And so I think it's very important to contribute to those international programs, youth exchange, polio plus health water projects. That's why I support Rotary.
Raymond, thank you so very much.
Yep.
The Topeka Club has been extraordinarily generous over many years, as you already heard. We currently have 82 Paul Harris Fellows in our club, 82 active members, Paul Harris Fellowship. 42 of those are multiple Paul Harris Fellowships. So it's clearly ongoing tremendous support and greatly appreciated. We have 118 total current donors from our club membership, giving at least at some level. And if you want to give a quick drum roll, or anybody, the all-time gifting from the Topeka Rotary Club is $1,121,000 to the International Foundation. That's an incredible number. And thank you to everyone. And next up, Sam Karkoff, Paul Harris Fellow, +4, $1,000 that, among other things, could contribute school supplies to more than 1,200 children in Guatemala. Amazing potential power of Rotary. Sam, would you make a few comments about why you support the Rotary Foundation?
Sure, Roger, thanks. When I first I was recruited to Downtown Rotary by Don McRae. I don't know if how many of you remember Don. He was a really great guy. And I knew him since I was a kid and scouting and all that stuff. And he got me in Rotary and said, you know, he said, going to meetings and the luncheons and that kind of stuff is one thing, but he says, give them to the foundation, both locally and internationally, is really where the power of Rotary comes into play. And he said, all you really need to do, Sam, is just donate $25 to each one of them every quarter and don't worry about it. He said, just donate. And he gave me some good reasons. But the one closest and dearest to my heart is Polio Plus. And we've had some really good luck as a club raising money for Polio Plus over the years. And so that's where my heart is eradication of polio, because my former wife, Janelle, was a polio victim back in the early 50s, and she survived it, and which is a wonderful thing. But the easiest thing to do, y'all, is just to donate $25 a quarter to local and international foundation, and pretty soon it adds up after 20 years. And I think I've been in the club about 20 years since Don recruited me. So if it's in your heart to do that, that's the easiest way to do it. And whenever a big one comes around, we should all step up and give whatever we can. But by the quarter on a steady basis is what makes Rotary Foundation local and international go.
Thank you, Sam, so very much. We appreciate it. Appreciate your gifting and your comments.
You're welcome.
I was a very young Rotarian. I started at age 30 and found myself amazingly and confusingly on the board of directors about 3 years later. And there was a lot of discussion about how to raise money for the foundation and the local foundation. And the debate around the table at that time primarily was, our club does not ask for money and our club does not raise money. We just don't do that. Our members are givers and they're just going to give if they want to, and they're not going to if they don't want to. And it took me 6 full years of board membership to get the gifting element added to the dues statement. Before, just to get a recommended donation of $25, add it to your statement and pay up. There was a lot of debate at the board meeting that would drive members away, just asking them to think about giving additional money. And now it's old hat, and our gifting has been on a constant upstream ever since. And it'd be weird, I think, not to see that option available. So I want to add a few more quick comments. In addition to regular gifting, there are people who give extraordinary amounts of money over time. The major donor group of Rotary International recognizes people that get up to 10,000. 10 to 25 is a level 1 major donor, and we have 5 of those active in our club. A level 2 donor is 25,000 to 50,000, and we have 1 of those active in our club. There's another layer up, the Arch Clump Society. Arch was the primary creator of the International Foundation back in whatever, 1920 or 30 something. The Arch Clump Society kicks in at up to $250,000, more than $250,000. And we have 1 of those in our club. Amazing, great support for Rotary International. There's an additional group called the Bequest Society. If you want to put Rotary in your final planning and make Rotary aware of it, there's recognition for that. And we have 7, 8, 9, 10 Topeka Rotarians who have already notified Rotary of their plans to contribute on their death. And I guarantee that all of those people are also in the major donors category and in the regular annual gifting category. So all those techniques are available. And I encourage anyone that, I'm probably the choir, I'm sure this is absolutely a choir that I'm preaching to. Thank you all for everything you do for Rotary. And if you have questions or comments, now would be a great time to fire away.
Any questions for Roger?
And I assure you, there's smarter people here than me. I'm looking at 2 past district governors, Larry and Stan, and Jenna Lee's been doing the district work now, and plenty of other board members and past presidents that have been through this.
Roger, there's a longstanding program with the foundation called Every Rotarian Every Year, encouraging every Rotarian to give $100 per year. I haven't looked at our club's record for quite a while with RI, but I was always amazed when I used to look at that not too many years ago that we didn't meet that. We maybe averaged over $100 per member, but we don't have every member giving $100. And I find it hard to believe that if you're in Rotary, you can't come up with $100 toward the RI Foundation. So I bring that up as an encouragement to everybody to be aware of that.
Yeah, absolutely true. We have a club report that comes out, and it is the annual gifters of the $1,000 or more. There are smaller gifts throughout the year from most people, but there are some club members that don't give anything. And I'm among those who recognize that everybody can't give everything to everything. We have to make our choices. So I'm very extraordinarily grateful to all the Rotarians who have made Rotary one of their primary gifting opportunities. Greatly appreciative. The Every Rotarian Every Year, the $100 program is part of the recognition, the club recognition you get from the district governor or the international president for being a great club.
Roger?
Yes.
I would like to emphasize the ripple effect that contributing to both Rotary International Foundation and to our local foundation has. This past year, that ripple effect allowed us to have the $20,000 that our local foundation had awarded to the YWCA for their human trafficking program. And Joan will have to tell me what the total grew to, but we benefited not only from the local money we gave, but it was also used to match with RI International. And so that international money came back not only through our regular district money, but through this wonderful grant project. And not everybody can donate $100 a year, but even giving $5 or $10 will makes a huge difference because it aggregates. So I urge everybody to consider doing the little bit that they can.
Thank you, Joni. Absolutely agree. Yeah. Larry, if you're commenting, you're muted. Yeah, my wife Robin has a permanent mute button and it's usually on me at home. So.
Now can you hear me?
Yay.
Yeah. I just wanted to follow up the comment about the human trafficking grant that is currently in effect here in Topeka. And to second what was said about that, that's an example of contributions to our local foundation and contributions to the annual fund, which made possible a global grant to fund that program. And actually the total value of that is pretty close to $120,000. So our local foundation and our contributions leveraged into a considerable amount to support that program. And the wonderful thing about that program, it is an international grant, which involves us and an international partner. In this case, the partner is in India. And what is unique about it is normally when we have a global grant, the host country is somewhere else where the project is being implemented. And we fund it from here in partnership with the Rotarians in that location. In this case, fairly uniquely, the project is being performed here and it's being funded jointly by us and our folks in India. So another example of our dollars at work to do great things through Rotary.
Yeah, clearly there's not another organization in the world with the magnification power of Rotary. There's nothing close to it. Local dollars magnified by district, magnified by international club relationships, magnified by Rotarians actually doing boots on the ground work. I absolutely believe this. Don't yell at me, but the World Health Organization and other organizations are taking a lot of credit for getting polio done. And I can tell you who could not have got polio done without Rotary. But I think Rotary could have gotten polio done without WHO or other. It's our ability to collaborate broadly that makes a difference. And money greases those wheels and makes things run. Thank you, everybody, so very, very much.
Any last questions for Roger or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Thank you, Roger, and thank you to those who are recognized today, but thank you to all of our members and encourage you, if you're not a Paul Harris Fellow, to work towards that incrementally, as Sam kind of suggested. If you do something quarterly, it'll build and you'll get there. Our presenter next week is Barbara Stapleton, and the subject is Choose Topeka. So I hope everybody can tune in for that. And as we typically do, I'll close with the 4-way plus test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun, and will it be kind? Until next week, I may see you sooner, but if not, have a safe and healthy week, and see you this time next week. Thank you.
Thank you.